Hello, in today's video we're going to be talking about the idea of solutions and what solutions are and how we use something known as molarity to identify the concentration of a solution. So what we've been dealing with so far in class is a lot of solids, measuring out grams of one compound and grams of another compound, and then having some sort of reaction that goes on between them. Or we've dealt with gases, where we have a certain amount of gas and a certain amount of another gas and have them react together. Now, these are very common types of reactions that occur in chemistry, but they're not the only types. Anytime you've seen the subscript AQ in any of the reactions that we've covered in class, that stands for aqueous. And what the AQ means is it is a solution. Now, a solution is a combination of two different things. One is the solute, and one is the solvent. So it's going to be made up of two or more different compounds or molecules. The solute is the thing that is being dissolved. While the solvent is doing the dissolving. So we have this idea of solute and solvent. Now, when we're talking about solutions, we always have to be identifying what's breaking apart and dissolving and what is doing the dissolving. Now, in this class, for most cases, our solvent is going to be water. For most cases, and in general, water is a very good solvent for compounds that or molecules that are considered polar. So how can we identify this? Let's say we had a beaker, and let's say we had water in the beaker. Now, if I were to add sodium chloride to the solution, which is a salt, table salt, we know that the table salt is going to dissolve and the solution is going to look just like water, but we know that there will be some sort of ions floating around in here. So this type of a chemical reaction, we can say, is where we put the sodium chloride solid into water and see what we get out of that. So we get sodium chloride solid being placed into water. Now, I've placed the water above the arrow, which means it's not actually doing a reaction, it's just there to allow stuff to happen. So sodium chloride is placed into water, and what we end up getting is Na plus aqueous plus Cl minus aqueous. So what happened with sodium chloride is when I put it into water, the sodium chloride, the ionic bond there, breaks apart, and we're separating it out into its cation, the sodium, and its anion, the chloride. Okay? So this is really what's happening when we place sodium chloride into water. It doesn't remain a solid, it breaks apart into its ionic forms. Now, in this case, since the sodium chloride was broken apart, it was being dissolved, it is called the solute. So sodium chloride in this example is called the solute. The water in this case did not break apart, but it allowed the sodium chloride to be broken apart. So it was doing the dissolving. It is known as the solvent. So sodium chloride in this example is the solute. Water is the solvent. Now, in a lot of different cases, and as a chemist, we want to identify what the concentration is of the solution. And what we do is we use a very specific unit in the world of chemistry. It is by no means the only unit of concentration, but it is the one that as a chemist we will be using regularly. And that is called molarity. Molarity. And this has a definition. It is equal to the moles of solute divided by the liters of solution. SOLN is a shorthand for solution. So moles of solute divided by liters of solution. Now this is the exact unit that you have to be in order to be called molarity. And the way that we write out the word molarity is just with a capital M. So this would be the definition of molarity. Molarity is equal to moles solute divided by liters of solution. And we know the liters of solution is not necessarily the volume of the solvent. That is the combination of the volume of the solvent plus the solute. So this is the total liter of the entire solution. So when we start doing problems, you're going to see some word change as we're going through these word problems. So for concentrations, we are going to be talking about molarities. It is moles of solute per liters of solution. And any way that we know how to calculate moles of the compound being dissolved is now going to be applied to this idea of solutions. So when you're talking about molarity, it's going to be a solution. We know a lot of different ways of calculating moles of the solute, so we're going to go back and we're going to apply all of our previous knowledge to this idea of solutions. So this is a quick introduction to the idea of molarity, to the idea of solutions. Remember, there's a solute and a solvent, and then we have the entire compound, the entire mixture is the solution. So with that, I want to say have a great night. I will see you all in class tomorrow.